Hello, I'm Mario Toneguzzi with Business Spotlight, and joining me today is my guest, Enzo Vardaro, who is Senior Vice President, Chief Commercial Officer, and co-owner of Artitalia Group in Montreal. Thanks for joining us today, Enzo.
Thanks for having me, Mario.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the company. Congratulations, by the way, 40 years in business. Tell us a
Thank
little
you.
bit about what the company does and what it is.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So, Artitalia Group specializes in designing and manufacturing custom products for four main industries. Those industries are retail, in which we design and manufacture custom display fixtures and furniture for the retail industry. The second market is hospitality and restaurant. And so, our company, again, specializes in designing and manufacturing metal and wood furniture for both restaurant chains and hotel chains throughout North America. Our third division is for material handling carts. Again, there, our company designs, manufactures material handling carts for a variety of, I'm going to say, both 3PL and e-commerce companies, as well as large logistics companies. And last but not least, our company specializes in designing and manufacturing mailboxes and automated parcel lockers.
Wow, it's a lot of stuff the guy's doing. Tell
It is.
tell me a little bit of the history. How did this start?
Yeah, it would be a pleasure actually. So, yeah, it's a family-owned business. My father started the business with his three brothers in the 70s originally.
Mhm.
So they immigrated from Italy. They came into Montreal, Canada, uh, knowing that there was a lot of potential for growth for not only themselves but their families as well. And so they immigrated here in the late 70s. They started working for a very small metal manufacturing company. And within just a couple of years, they bought out that company and, through a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, built this wonderful business we have today. Okay. So at first, we started off as a very small metal manufacturing company producing OEM parts for not only B2B, but also B2C. Okay. So we produced metal parts and components for other businesses, but we also produced furniture. Okay. Direct to commerce, direct to clients. And that originally started off as a very small team of four brothers, then slowly grew, not only through organic growth, but also through acquisition. Okay.
Mhm.
And over these 40 years, we've grown our company through both organic growth, expansion. Okay. So today we operate out of Montreal, where our headquarters are and our main factory is. We also have factory and warehouse and teams in New Jersey, in California, and also in Xiamen, China. Okay.
Wow.
So although our main market is North America, we've been shipping worldwide for a number of years. Okay. So yeah, so from a very small team of four employees to today over 500 employees, we've very very proud of what we've built over the years. Okay. And so, yeah, the progression has been that. I mean, a couple of years ago, my uncles decided to retire. And so my brothers and I decided to partner with my dad into the business, which was a huge undertaking and one of my life dreams growing up in the business.
Yeah.
Yeah, and very proud of what we built, really.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about the role of technology in the company and what you guys have there and what's new, say, in the past few years
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
to help you conduct business.
Well, technology has become a big part of our operations day to day. Okay. So not only do we run the company through a very in-depth ERP system, but we're integrating what's called Industry 4.0, which is a huge initiative and undertaking that we've been implementing within our manufacturing, both domestically and overseas. So what that means basically is, updating machinery and updating software to keep up with the times. I think within the domestic manufacturing industry, one thing we saw coming out of COVID is that we can't really rely too much on manual labor. Okay, for a number of reasons.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, unlike it was back in the day, which is a phrase I use very often, we don't find metal workers and cabinet makers as much as we did back 20 years ago.
Uh-huh.
A lot of the younger generation is getting to a lot more technically driven programs, okay, or technically driven careers.
Yeah.
And so what that allows us to do is look at our manufacturing, our domestic manufacturing plant, and say, okay, if we're going to continue this and if we're going to grow this domestic manufacturing plant, what do we have to do in order to keep this going, to make us a lot more competitive and to increase our capacity, but at the same time decrease our cost? So what Industry 4.0 is the next evolution of domestic manufacturing. And so what we're doing now is really investing in automated machines and also in cobots. So you can imagine, having a factory of over 1 million square feet and manufacturing metal, wood, and plastic. We definitely need a lot of employees to run this, which is great, and we do have. But what we're trying to do is elevate our current associates and have them go from manual manufacturing to almost a technical career, in the sense that instead of manually making something, they would then be trained to actually technically set up a machine. Okay. So what we're doing is we're investing in cobots to assist in our current armada of machinery. Okay. So the idea there is, instead of having a person input pieces manually in a machine and remove them, our idea or our goal is to have cobots do that, but then train the employees on how to use and program these cobots. Okay. And then beyond that, we're investing a lot more in self-automated and self-run machinery. Okay. And our goal really is to bring a lot more production back domestically. Okay. And this really happened. I think COVID was a turning point. Besides the lack of manual labor, we were seeing that products that we were getting produced from our partners in China, although the original price point of building a product in China was more cost effective, what added to the cost was the increased cost in transport. Okay, so everybody remembers the issues we had with supply chain, unfortunately, during COVID, right?
Yeah.
Now, we thought that was over, and unfortunately, it's not. With the political issues we're having in the Middle East and the issues with the Suez Canal in Egypt, and with the environmental issues we're having with water levels in the Panama Canal, again, it's creating an issue with supply chain. Okay, so it's taking longer for a container to get from overseas to North America. Costs are going back up again. Just recently, there was another increase in cost of about, I think, 25-30% in transport.
Yeah.
And so what that's doing is making us look at, okay, we have some of the best clients in the industry, almost in every market we serve. How can we best and better service them? For the most part, our clients they want a good quality product at a competitive price that ships in a reasonable amount of time. Okay. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to find ways to drive our domestic manufacturing costs down. I'm not going to say that we can meet the price of a product built overseas, but I'll tell you that once you add the price of transport and the increased cost in transport on that part, we're closer than we've ever been. And that's all due to Industry 4.0. It's all due to implementing automated machines, implementing AI, and so on and so forth. So we're really reinvesting in our domestic manufacturing facilities.
Excellent. And so give me a sense of who your clients are. Like,
yeah, sure. I'm more than proud, actually.
How big, how small?
So we're fortunate enough to work with some of the largest names in almost every market we serve. Okay. So I'll start off in retail, since it's so far our biggest market. So in the retail industry, we service clients like Target department stores, Walmart, CVS, and a slew of other chains and brands throughout. Within the restaurant and hospitality industry, that's another market that is growing tremendously for us. We deal with amazing chains such as McDonald's, Starbucks, and Subways, Tim Hortons, to name a few. Within the material handling industry, we deal with clients like Canada Post and Amazon, Alaskan Airlines, and a ton of other clients that need to move product on a daily basis. And last but not least, in the smart locker mailboxes, we deal with clients like UPS, Budroom, and a lot of other retailers that need to get product out there.
Wow. What's your father's first name?
His first name is Antonio, but we call him Tony. Well, I call him Dad. Actually, I call him
Dad.
I call him Todd, but everybody calls him Tony.
So what does Tony think of all this, looking back 40 years of what he started and what the company is today?
I think he's very proud. I can see it in his eyes. He's a character that never stops, always innovating. He's a true Renaissance man. He's good at almost everything he does. He's very passionate not only about music, which is his part-time thing, it's his hobby, but also the business. He's a true artist, and I think the name Artitalia came from that. I mean, we really look at manufacturing as being an art form, and my father is the true embodiment of Artitalia, right? Whether it's an artist in design, like he's created a lot of products himself. So he's I guess, a self-made designer, self-made engineer, self-made businessman, self-made salesman. You know, and it's funny because he's got 5 kids, and I think each one of us takes on a different part or different role of what his character is.
Cool.
Like I caught on to the design side, so I studied design. I'm a designer, right? And I quickly, I'm going to say, evolved into marketing and sales, which is a natural part of his being, really. Every time you meet him or anytime he meets anybody,
Yeah.
he's so passionate about what he does that I'm not going to say he sells it, but he promotes the company so easily and naturally that it comes across as almost a selling pitch or a sales pitch, right?
Sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but he's very proud of what he's built and what his brothers have built as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, when you're looking at, and as I say, looking up here at the logo, right, and finding the art in everything,
Yeah.
why is that, do you think, important these days? Um,
So manufacturing in itself is an art form. You
yeah,
know, I tell everybody I meet, there's so many variables, there's so many things that can go wrong within the manufacturing process. You got to think that we're manipulating 3 major raw materials, right? Metal, wood, and plastic,
yeah,
right? And even within that, like in metal, not only do we work cold roll and hot roll metal, or not only do we work sheet metal, but we work aluminum, stainless, hot roll, cold roll. I've worked brass, and even within that, we've worked with, or we can process sheet metal, tube, wire, rod, flat bar. So there's so many different types of metal products we produce.
yeah,
Same thing in the wood department, right? Not only do we process solid wood, but we process veneer, we process melamine, we process laminate, we process solid surface, we process composite, and so many other types of wood. And same in plastic, whether it's acrylic or PEG or sheet extrusion, we can really all in one place, all under one roof, manipulate all of these materials. And
mm,
so that within itself and the transferring of raw material to a final product. And let me take a step back from the initial idea, the design, the sketch, the rendering, the engineering drawing, the prototype, the testing,
yeah,
the then manufacturing, the then assembling, the then warehousing and shipping and getting it in store in a restaurant or a hotel or wherever. That process in art form, and I think that we got that art form pretty down packed, excuse me, and it changes all the time. So I think one of the reasons why we love this business is because it's never the same day in day out. It changes every day.
yeah.
So that in itself, I'm going to say again, manufacturing is an art form.
Okay, super. Well, thanks very much, Enzo, for joining us today.
Thank you, Mary. I really appreciate it.
All right, that was Enzo Vardaro, who is Senior Vice President, Chief Commercial Officer, and co-owner of Artitalia Group in Montreal. I'm Mario Tonaguzzi with Business Spotlight. Thanks for joining us today.